Welcome to Listpedia. Today we are counting down the top 10 Star Wars video games. Number 10, Super Star Wars. Kicking off the list is a direct adaptation of the first film in the saga. The story took a few turns here and there, but it's mainly loyal to the original film. The game is a simple 2D side-scrolling run-and-gun and allows you to play as the main characters in Episode 4, Luke, Han, and Chewbacca. It's notable for its levels that allow players to take control of Luke's land speeder and even the X-Wing. Despite being marked for its difficulty, this game starts off the list for the nostalgia it brings.
Expect you to correct this error.
As you wish.
Number 9, Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Has proven to be a formidable.
Boba Fett is one of the most famous characters in the Star Wars franchise, even if he was only seen for a few minutes and had scarce lines.
He's holding a remote.
Unfortunately, he isn't featured much in video games either. So, this game is probably the next best thing for Boba Fett fans, which features Jango Fett, Boba's father. The name and color of the armor may be different, but Jango Fett still packs the badass factor. After all, he is the first to don the armor. This game also provides some details about the events surrounding Jango before Episode 2.
To admit it, but you're worth more alive. I'll get you for this, Fett. Payback! You hear me?
Your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
Number 8, Star Wars Republic Commando.
Scanning 100%.
Before Finn became the most famous stormtrooper in the galaxy, the white-helmeted grunts were known for their precise marksmanship, or hilarious lack of. Because of that, people tend to forget about the stormtroopers' predecessors, the Republic clone troopers.
Welcome to Geonosis 38.
Unlike their non-clone successors, these troopers were as brilliant as they come in the battlefield.
Your presence. My advice.
Star Wars Republic Commando places the player in the shoes of the Delta Squad troopers as they fight in the Clone Wars. This first-person shooter gives players the chance to experience the lives of the dispensable troops out on the front lines. Number 7, Star Wars TIE Fighter. The TIE fighters employed by the Empire didn't get as much fanfare as the renowned X-Wing fighters, until Star Wars TIE Fighter was released. This game breaks away from the norm and places the player on the other side of the conflict, shedding light into the everyday missions that the TIE Fighter pilots encounter.
Our capable forces, led by Darth Vader, are striking back.
The player is also in charge of optimizing the fighter's performance, like firing behavior of the laser cannons. Unlike in the films, the fighters in this game are not taken down in a single hit.
7 standing by. Red 3 standing by. Red 6 standing by. Red 9 standing by.
Number 6, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Leader.
For evacuation, take Rogue Squadron.
This list wouldn't be complete without a game that features the fan-favorite X-Wing fighters.
We need something faster than these X-Wings.
And no game better exemplifies the awesomeness of the X-Wings than the second game in the Rogue Squadron series, Rogue Leader. The game, however, does not confine players to the X-Wings entirely. Players can also pilot numerous Rebellion fighters like the Y-Wing, B-Wing, and even the Millennium Falcon.
Look, enemy fighters approaching.
There are even some levels where players can switch fighter types. This game takes the cake for pure space battles. Number 5, Star Wars Battlefront 2. No, this isn't an immediate sequel of the recently released Star Wars Battlefront. It's actually the predecessor. Unlike the shiny new sequel, Battlefront 2 has space combat. The main draw of the game is the multiplayer mode, where players from opposing factions duke it out in objective-based matches. Number 4, Star Wars Battlefront. Probably the hardest game on the list to rank, the recently released Star Wars Battlefront has received mixed reviews. The game is still incomplete with reportedly several DLC packs on the way. One of those will probably contain space combat, and that edition alone has a chance to vault this title higher up the list. While Battlefront has amazing graphics and gameplay, a big drawback is the lack of a single-player campaign. However, the game does a great job of letting the player feel like they are in a Star Wars movie.
I have no interest in your failures, Commander.
Number 3. Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. It turns out Darth Vader wasn't alone in his hunt for the remaining Jedi in the galaxy following his turn to the dark side.
Cannot disguise yourself.
And no, it's not Emperor Palpatine. Star Wars: The Force Unleashed is a fast-paced action-adventure game that takes place between the events of Episodes 3 and 4. In the game, the player takes control of Starkiller, Vader's secret apprentice.
My apprentice.
Before Kylo Ren drew the sympathy of fans for his struggle with the light and dark, Starkiller was making the rounds in the galaxy wielding both sides of the Force, which makes the game's story one of the most interesting of all the games. Number 2. Star Wars Episode 1: Jedi Power Battles. There may be other games that boast better looking lightsaber battles, but nothing is as fun as this game. When the player starts, you can choose between 5 characters, featuring Mace Windu and Plo Koon, the yellowish-looking Jedi Master. The game closely follows the events of Episode 1 in an action-packed platformer style. The game features numerous combos and force abilities that each character can unlock individually, making the combat more than just a hack and slash. Oh, and players can also play as Darth Maul, once unlocked. Number 1. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars meet role-playing game. Hands down, this title is the best game the franchise has to offer. The gameplay is similar to an MMORPG, where players are able to choose character classes at the beginning. The Force abilities are like the magic systems found in fantasy-based games. And the actions the players take are similar too, talking to non-playable characters, grinding for experience, completing quests, taking AI-controlled characters as companions. The game may be carrying the RPG tag, but its combat is every bit action-packed as all the other games combined. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. If you have a top 10 list you would like to see, please tell us in the comments section.